this is Mike making my video to add to my collection. Today is the 10th of March 2025 and it's 10 o'clock p.m. Anyway, I'm making this video. I have a few interruptions, but for the most part, I'm making this video. I'm talking about manifestation and magic and all the things associated with that. I've manifested millions of dollars in my life, and I've manifested a lot of supernatural experiences. Basically, and I've had a lot of miraculous things happen, that really defy logic. There is no measuring stick that I can apply to it. There's no way of really measuring it. There's no way of really quantifying it and explaining it. It's just, things just happen. They just are. With that being said, things just are. They take place, and there is no way to truly explain it. I mean, I guess you can say it's a VR headset that I put on, and I see things that normally most people can't see. My mind, neural networks are laid down that, more or less give me the ability to see things that most people can't see, and do things supernaturally that most people can't do. I guess that's the easiest explanation I can give to it. That I have neural networks, and my mind expands to the point where then I can start to control reality. But that usually happens when I fold, when I submit to the universe. So when you submit, that's when the universe provides you with supernatural experiences and events, that you can't really wrap your mind around. I mean, I can, to the extent that I know that everything is basically just a simulation, and basically things just materialize. They just happen. There is no way to really explain it, though. I mean, not completely. Other than the fact that things just materialize and they just are. And those things take place, and when you do understand, basically quantum physics and psychology and physics, all the types of physics, and you understand you understand it, then basically, then what happens is the universe opens up and reveals things to you. But when you submit, that's when you learn to trust the universe, and you learn to trust the way things are. And when you do that, then what happens is the universe trusts you, and you submit to the universe, and the universe will submit to you. So it's kind of like taming a lion. At first, it's very reckless, and you have that fire, and it's without any direction, any semblance of direction, then what happens is then it's reckless, and then you tame it, and then you learn to tame that fire, you learn to tame that lion, and then what happens is that lion, the universe can be your best friend. And I'm pretty much an existentialist. I see that everything is really confusing and discord and unorganized. But when I give it meaning, when I give things meaning, when they have significance to me, then what happens is the universe will supply you with those types of things that have significance. So, I've had Mercedes Benzes and, BMWs and Corvettes and police cars that were Crown Vics, and then Dodge Charger police cars, and then diesel trucks. And, more or less, I've had pretty much a taste of all the things that you could possibly ever want. And then, not to mention magical abilities that, I take these things and I acquire them, and then I trade them off, and I get things that are so much more prevalent. They're more important to me. They're solid. But when you think about it, everything that you look at will disappear someday, and any given day I can look outside and see hundreds of cars driving by, and they all range from anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000. Some cheaper ones, but for the most part, a lot of expensive ones. And people have these really expensive houses and lifestyles, that makes me wonder, how the hell they can afford it. But there's that, and then you got to figure, well, people are griping they have $150,000 income. And they say they can't survive off $150,000 a year, and I mean, I get by on like 40,000, and right around 40,000, and it's like I get by on that, and it's like you have these people that complain about that 150,000 they can't get by. So there's some major disconnect if you can't make that work. So anyway, I'm just talking about the in-depth things about magic, and you got to be kind of predisposed to it, as preordained, in the sense that you have to be kind of hardwired, for that type of thing, with some kind of disability, a mental disability of some sort. So you're gifted, and that definitely is true. So anyway, that's really all there is to it. There really isn't much more to explain about that, other than the fact that you have to be preordained, predestined, for that. And you want to live your destiny. You don't want to fight against it. If you fight against the will of the world, the way things are, if you fight against it, I mean, it's okay to kind of have some kind of aversion towards it, but honestly, it's the past representing itself in the present moment, and then you got to deal with the present moment to move on to the future. So you have those things, and then you bless them and send them on their way. You experience them, and you live in the moment. So with that being said, that's really ultimately all there is to it. But you think about it, you have to have high energy, and you have to have focused thought, and you have to believe all things are possible, and then you believe in infinite possibilities. Every cloud has a silver lining, and every moment there is has infinite possibilities in that moment. And you have to have determination, and you have to have you have to be long suffering, patience, and you have to have all these types of qualities. And if you don't possess those qualities, there's the 7 deadly sins you don't want to mess around with. But there's also the fact that you have to kind of seek after an end to a means, in order to kind of open the way for things to happen. So you have to kind of, seek an ending, a death to your past, in order for the future to represent itself. So anyway, it says to seek death, and if you seek death, you'll find life. And what they mean by that is you risk your life. You push yourself to the point where you risk your life and your livelihood, and you go to the wit's end, and you go to the very farthest reaches of the planet, with everything. And then what that does is it opens the doorway for you to have more. So usually when you're in a state of weakness, that's when God's strength is made perfect. So, a God, maybe myself being a God, my strength is made perfect in my weakness. So, so anyway, when I submit, when I give in, when I fold, and when I totally let go of things, and I let go of the past, and I let go of all the people in the past, and my kids, basically my wife, ex-wife, no, but your job, your title, anything to do with the ego. You annihilate the ego. You destroy that strong man, and you submit. And then when you do all that, when you destroy that strong man, that king, and then what happens is, then the universe will open up and show you incredible things. It has a lot to do with your mind. The kingdom of heaven resides on the inside of you, but is expressed on the outside of you. And of course, you have treasures in heaven. You have things that, basically you rest on your laurels, and you have all these things that are significant to you. And these things are priceless, and they're irreplaceable, and they're always going to be there. So, anyway, that's really ultimately that's how it works. But when you have the neural networks laid down and your mind expands, then what that does is it opens the door for you to see and hear things that most other people can't see or hear. You have eyes to see, ears to hear. And usually with that being said, that's a very rare thing that takes place, and very few people find it. And very few people find the pathway, the doorway to the kingdom of heaven. It has a lot to do with your third eye, your pineal gland. And, the things you see basically are here in the spirit world opens up to you, and you talk to spirits, and you see all kinds of mythological creatures and whatnot. It's needless to say, it's not to say that they don't exist. They do exist. It's just sometimes those things represent themselves to only to those who are that are pure in heart. So you have to be pure in heart, and you basically have to submit. And then the Holy Spirit, basically the part of your mind, that makes peace with the other side of your mind, reveals itself, the creative side, the foolish side, basically. For God's foolishness is greater than man's wisdom. So, they're talking about God's foolishness being the feminine side of yourself, and then you got that, and then, of course, the creative side, Shakti. And then, of course, there's Shiva, the destroyer. So there's a creator and there's a destroyer. The male energies and female energies, they commingle. And, basically you make peace with the other side of your household and your mind. And then when you do that, the bride and the groom in the bridal chamber, your mind, when they have union, basically what happens is those two sides of your mind make peace with each other, and then basically that opens the door for you hearing supernatural things and having experiences. But some of these things are tangible. You can hold them in your hand, you can touch them, and they are real. So anyway, that's all I really have to say. There isn't a whole lot more. I'm just thankful, and of course have gratitude. And be thankful for everything. And once you do all that, once you follow the recipe, the right formulation of things to do and say and be, and then it opens up the doorway for you having the things that you want to have, and doing the things you want to do, and being the things you want to be. So you got to become like Christ, and then of course once you do that, then Christ becomes like you. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Over and out.